Hey everyone, it's Manero here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to paint this frog with realistic colored pencils in Procreate. So let's jump right into it. In order to achieve this, I'm going to be using my Pencilmania brush set for Procreate. You can find it along with a free mini version for you to try out on my Gumroad page through the link in the top right corner of this video or in the description below. I'm also going to be using this super cool photo reference by Stephanie LeBlanc. I will leave the link to this picture in the description as well, in case you want to follow along. I'm going to be working on an 8.5 by 11 inches canvas at 300 dpi. And the first thing I'm going to do is to import a paper texture from the ones that are included with this set. This time I'm going to choose the one called Tone Paper Texture 3. Making sure that magnetics is on in the transform settings, I click on Fit to Canvas, and then I'm renaming the layer to stay organized. Since this is a tone paper, instead of setting this layer to multiply as I would with a white paper texture, I'm going to leave it in normal mode, and it needs to stay at the bottom of the layers menu during the whole process. Then I create a new layer on top of the paper texture, and here I'm going to start sketching my composition. For this I'm going to use the HB pencil brush. By the way, a quick reminder that you can see what brush I'm using at all times by looking at this rectangle here. Notice how at first I'm doing very light marks. I start very loose and light because I don't want to make any committed lines until I'm sure that everything is in the right place with the correct proportions. To achieve this, I'm not focusing on any details, I'm just trying to draw with simple shapes. I can also play around with the selection and moving tools to make position adjustments of specific parts of my drawing. During the sketch phase, you can see how I'm switching very often between the HB pencil brush with the paint tool and one of the eraser brushes with the eraser tool, as I'm constantly doing corrections and redrawing parts as I go. Once I have the general sketch finished, I like to leave the drawing alone for a few hours. And when I come back I can see my mistakes at first glance. Here's where I would make some adjustments, erasing and redrawing any parts that weren't convincing to me. With the final sketch finished, I like to alpha lock the layer. This will allow me to colorize different parts of the lines so that they are more similar to the different areas that I'm going to paint, like the green and yellow in the frog or the red, green and purple in the flower. I used the 4B Graphite Shading 2 brush for this, so I could cover large areas quickly. Now on a new layer below the sketch, I'm using the HB Pencil Shader brush to give the whole thing a general underpainting. This will give me something to start from when rendering. Switching back to the HB pencil brush, I start working on the head, the chest, and the belly. My plan is to start shading and rendering more or less messy, and I will slowly go more and more specific as I progress. I continue with the extremities, and I also start rendering the flower at one point. The cool thing about this brush set is that you're not limited to just a few regular pencil brushes, but you also have at your disposal a large selection of pencil brushes that will help you to add detail and cover larger areas in a matter of seconds. For example, I'm using the 9B Pencil Scribbles brush to quickly paint the whole bottom of the flower in no time. This brush also works great with the smudge tool to help blending what we already have on the canvas in a very natural way. You'll see that I'm going to use this technique of painting with pencil brushes and then switching to the smudge tool with this brush to blend some areas during the process. Notice how I'm getting more and more specific little by little, defining things like the eyes of the frog. I'm using now the 6B pencil brush, which has a thicker and more aggressive texture than the HB pencil. As I continue layering my pencil shadings, the colors accumulate on top of each other and this makes them look more solid and vibrant. Now it is just a matter of continue rendering. It's an interesting and detailed process, so the more patience we have, the more realistic colored pencil effect we will achieve. Painting with real colored pencils take time, and having a similar mindset when doing it digitally will give us more believable results than if we try to rush it. Here I'm addressing some of the background surrounding the frog. I'm not interested on covering the whole canvas, I just want to make the main subject pop, so a little bit of color around it will do the trick. The general rendering of the frog and the flower are finished, but now we need to take the painting a step further by working out the details. You can see how my brush strokes are no longer loose, but way more specific and thoughtful. For example, adding reflections, highlights, and texture to the frog's face will make it look more defined, and it will give it that little bit of translucency and moisture that frogs have in their skin. Here's a little trick I recommend to use when you want to double check if there are any mistakes in your painting. I go to the wrench icon in the top left corner in Procreate, and in the Canvas tab, I click on Flip Horizontal. This will help me immensely to quickly spot any mistakes I made during the process, and it will be much easier for me to fix them. For example, I realized that the mouth was too round in my drawing, and it needed to be composed more like 3 straight segments. It also helped me understand better what parts of my rendering needed more work, like the arm and the leg. At any point I can flip the canvas back and continue working normally. I purposely left this part for the end because I thought it would be more satisfying, and I wasn't wrong. Adding this dark pattern in the frog's skin was really cool and really brought the little creature to life. I drew these details on a new layer because I wanted to be able to define them without affecting what I already had. When I'm happy with it, I can merge it with the rest of my painting and work a little on integrating it better. As a final touch, I decided to play a little bit with some of the pencil hatching brushes to add some extra texture that I feel it really helped wrapping up this piece. And this is the final result. I really hope you liked this video. If you use my brushes and post your art on social media, feel free to use the hashtag Manero brushes so that I can see what you create. I will be extremely happy to share your creations with my audience. Don't forget to subscribe for more art related videos and give me a thumbs up. Also, make sure to check out my Gumroad page, where you will find the full and the free versions of my Pencilmania brush set for Procreate, and many other sets and freebies that I have available. I'm sure something will suit your artistic needs. All the links are in the description below. Okay, thank you for watching. See you next time.